Hello viewer, welcome to my YouTube channel Software Testing. As part of Python tutorial, today I'll show you for loop. Then there is the first question, what is Python for loop? A for loop in Python is a control flow statement that iterates over a sequence such as a list, tuple, string or range or other iterable object. It executes a block of code repeatedly for each time in the sequence. It is a fundamental tool for performing repetitive tasks efficiently. Here is an example. Students, their list and Mary and Smith. Thereafter for loop happens. It will iterate all those list and it will print all of those. Execute the block of code, the print statement over here. So we'll do real life example in PyCharm IDE. Let's open PyCharm IDE. Here is my PyCharm IDE is open. Those who are new in Python as well as PyCharm IDE, how to install and set it up project, I have a separate video for that in my channel. You can watch from there. Once you are in here, select the Python project, then right click in the Python project, then click new, then click Python file. Here you need to enter your Python file name. Let's say my file name is for loop example, then hit enter from keyboard. Your file will create over here and you need to write your code over here. Let's say I am declaring a variable students equal to, there are multiple students in the list. Now we can go through the for loop for this. For loop for declaration, first you need to for, then let me declare st in students, then clone, then here you need to write your block of code that we execute repeatedly. Let's say write a print statement, print st. So if we run this for loop, it will iterate all through one by one and it will print our all the items. So let me run it. Run for loop example. You see it is printed all, Anne, Mary, Smith, John and Jerry. So now let's say we will do another thing over here. If st equal signs means equal to, because only one equal sign is the operator in programming language, that's why it is equal to. So let me do here Smith, and then clone, break. We'll break that statement over here. That means we are instructing for loop if this st variable equal to Smith, thereafter it needs to break. That means this code of block it will execute before Smith. Once Smith comes in, it will not execute later on. Let me run this thing. Run for loop. You see it is printed Anne and Mary. What will happen if we use the continue over here? Continue, what it will do, it will ignore that Smith and it will go through the loop whatever it is and it will print it all only except Smith. So right click, run for loop example. You see it is printed Anne, Mary, John and Jerry. Smith is not printed. Here is that. Another thing, let's say if you do delete those things, you declare for loop statement but there is no code over here for execution purpose. If you run this, there is empty code. If you run this, Python will throw an error. If you see, it is error. But sometimes you don't have any code but you need to run the code accordingly. It should be passed. That's the way you need to bypass that error. pass command, like continue, break, and this is the pass command. If you run this program, it will not execute anything because we don't have code, it is passes. In this way you need to handle if there is any for loop without any code, I mean empty code, then you can do that. So now we can do another thing. Let's say we can go iterate through the letter. Let's say n is one variable, st in student, then we can print st. So it is a one variable, it will go iterate through the letter a, n, n separately, it will print that for this command. So right click, run for loop example. You see it is not printed as a ANN one name, it is go through the letter and printed all those things. If any programming purpose you need to extract in this way, you can use that thing. So let me do one arithmetic for loop, like something like that. For, let's say, number in range, let's say 6, then clone, then print number. So that means we are instructing number in range 6. That means programming, it is started with 0 to 5. That means 6 number it will print. So right click, run for loop example. You see it is printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in range works with multiple parameters. Let's say we want to range between 6, then let's say 15. In between the range we need to print. This will go start with 6 and ended up with 15. If you run this one, run for loop example, you see 6 to 14. Basically it is printed. I'm sorry, it is not up to 15. That means it start with 0. That's why it will print up to 14. So this is, if you follow this thing, it is printed 6, then 7, 8. It is one increment. By default, program will increment plus 1. So if you want to instruct that, you want to increment like any number. Let's say we want to increment 3. That means 6, then 9. In that way, it will print. So right click, run for loop example. You see it is printed 6, 9, 12. Thereafter, it did not go through. So let's say if you do like 16, it will print another one, 15 2. Run for loop example. You see it is printed 9, 12. So that means basically range function, you can work with 1 parameter, 2 parameter, and 3 parameter. Whatever needed for your program purpose, you can do that. Now I will show you for loop statement, like in a range up to 6, then we'll do if else statement over here. So if number equal 3, then clone, we are asking break. Then we can print number. Thereafter we had a else block, else, else, then we can print finally. So that means basically if it will iterate 0 to 5, thereafter we are giving the condition if number equal to 3, then it will break. It will not go further. Let's say run it, how it goes. Say 0, 1, 2. Once it is going to 3, it is breaking and it is not moving to the else block. So what happens if we do the continue statement, it will go to the else block too. So run for loop example. You see it did not print 3. So if then it bypass 3, then it goes to 4, 5, and also it goes to the else block too. Now I will show you nested for loop. Nested for loop, basically for loop within the for loop. Let me declare a variable colors equal to let's say red, and also another value green. I'll declare another variable fruits equal to, let's say, apple, and also another banana. You can put multiple value for demonstration purpose. I only put 2. So let me do the for loop now. For CL in colors colon, then we'll declare another for loop over here, that is the nested. For FT in fruits colon, then we can print this way, print first one is the CL comma FT. So now if you run this, it will print like this way: red apple, red banana, green apple, green banana. So let me run this, run for loop example. You see it is printed red apple, red banana, green apple, green banana. In this way you can utilize for loop in your programming purpose. That's all for today's tutorial in Python for loop. I believe those who are new in Python programming as well as for loop, this video will be very helpful for themselves. If you think this is helpful, please like my video, subscribe my channel and share it to others. Also, if you have any question, please make a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video.